carry on like this, that preposterous
How was it, Miss Aysgarth?
Chief Inspector was very polite. But he was asking too much.
In what way?
It's all been so dreadful.
Yes, indeed. I'm sorry.
You've been a pillar of strength to all of us.
Your loss is far deeper than mine.
It's unbelievable.
Yes. Do you mind? Inspector Pope did...
Dryden.
Sorry. Dryden. Did he give you any idea of how the investigation's progressing?
I don't think he's inclined to accept that an intruder was responsible for the breach. Anyway, he wants to see you in about 10 minutes.
And the whiskey for you, sir.
Thank you, Will. Where?
In my office. It's been commandeered as an interview room.
How long have you known the Pen Warden family, Mr. Latimer?
About 3 weeks.
But you were to have dined with them this evening.
Yes, I was.
Really?
Yes, as Sarah's tutor, I've got to know the family quite well.
Ah, in your capacity as tutor to Miss Sarah Pen Warden.
Yes.
This is all way above my head, sir. Do tutors generally dine with their employers?
I don't know. I've never been in this position before.
So before this position came along, what were you up to?
Up to? I was, am, and hopefully shall continue to be the senior English master at Ferrier School.
And of course, Lady Pen Warden is a governor of that school.
Mr. Latimer.
Sorry my husband isn't here. He's in London on business. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
I'm sure Mr. Elliot has told you that we are looking for a tutor for my daughter.
Yes, the headmaster mentioned that Sarah needed extra help before she takes her Oxford entrance exam.
Well, did Mr. Elliot also mention that she's never been to school in her life? That she's had a succession of governesses?
A succession?
She soon outgrew them. She's extremely intelligent. She needed to learn more than they could teach her.
Uh-huh. You mean she's clever but difficult?
I want her to have a trained mind, Mr. Latimer.
How old is she?
19.
When did she take her A-levels?
Last summer.
Last summer? Well, that's very nearly 12 months ago. You do realize that Oxford entrance exams are fiercely competitive. A fair degree of mental stamina is required of an undergraduate.
But will you take her on?
Well, I've never taught one-to-one before, but...
You're not married, are you, or engaged?
No, I'm not.
May I ask why not?
I scarcely earn enough to keep my own head above water.
it's about time you met Sarah.
So, what was she like? What did you make of her?
At first, I suppose I was disappointed.
Disappointed?
Yes, I'd imagined her as being more sophisticated.
But you took her on as a pupil.
Yes. More to please her mother than anything.
Oh, yes?
Yes, she is a very attractive woman, and I like her.
What was the arrangement, the financial arrangement between you and Lady Penwarden?
What possible relevance can that have to what happened this evening?
Yes. So?
Thank you, Will.
And you, sir?
No, thank you.
Shall I draw the curtains, gentlemen?
No, that will be all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Objectionable flunky.
Don't you approve of butlers?
They've never entered my scheme of things until tonight.
Well, someone has to pour the whiskey.
You'll be telling me next. The Penwardens are no different from you and me.
Well, are they? Apart from owning 10 farms and 47,000 acres on the most successful passenger line in the world, they're just simple, home-loving folk.
So how much were they paying you to coach the girl?
11 guineas an hour.
Guineas? In this day and age?
Yes. Is that it?
No, it's not. Where did your tutorials take place?
In Sarah's study, naturally.
And where's that to be found?
At the top of the second staircase, in that absurd turret.
Isolated from the world, an attractive 19-year-old heiress whiles away the hours with an ambitious young bachelor.
Are you suggesting that there's something improper in that relationship?
Simply trying to discover something about Sarah Penwarden.
They flee from me, but sometime did me seek, with naked foot stalking within my chamber. Once have I seen them, gentle, tame, and meek, that now are wild. And do not once remember that sometime they have put themselves in danger to take bread at my hand. And now they range, busily seeking in continual change. It's lovely.
It gets better as it goes on.
I mean, he sees women quite literally as birds.
Yes, well, a lot of men still do 4.5 centuries later.
Do you?
What?
Do you see me as a bird?
Well, there's rather a different connotation to the word nowadays. No, I don't, actually. I see you as sensitive and imaginative and capable. You're a good scholar and a fine musician, but...
But you'd never want me, would you?
The problem with love poetry is that we tend to personalize it, and we shouldn't. Not here, anyway. It's a subject for study, not soul-bearing.
Love poetry's bound to seem personal. What else can it be?
This is delightful. Who did it?
I did, actually.
Well, it's very good.
Thank you.
What are you slogging away for an Oxford entrance exam for when you should be thinking about going to an art school?
Well, Mummy thinks it's a talent best kept to myself.
I'll speak to Mummy about it.
No, please. It would only cause problems. But you like my horse.
Yes, he's a beauty.
Would you like to see him?
I'd love to.
When?
When we've finished the lesson. has great difficulty keeping her mind on the job. So, tell me about him.
Well, Sir Thomas Watt
Wyatt.
was probably the finest lyric poet of the early 16th century.
Drawing, music, horses. Not a word about boyfriends.
Not to me, no.
It's unnatural.
What is?
Girl of 19, pretty, all the money in the world. Why aren't the young men of the county queuing up at the gates?
I can't speak for the young men of the county. But if you want a serious answer to your question, I think she is emotionally naive.
And what's that supposed to mean?
Her thoughts don't dwell on sex.
So, that's what you believe, is it?
I'm sorry, I really don't see what all this has to do with the matter in hand.
All right. Let's consider the prime mover in this affair. Sarah's half-brother, Lawrence. When did you meet him? How did you meet him?
Where would you like to ride?
Well, you know the estate far better than I do.
I suppose we'd always have to cross to the lodge.
The lodge?
Where Lawrence and Julia be living after their honeymoon.
Oh, yes, right.
Where did you learn to ride?
I picked it up on my uncle's farm in Cumberland.
Oh.
My cousins all hunted ferociously.
Oh, did you?
No, I did not. But I learnt to stay on a horse. What about Lawrence? Is he a good horseman?
He was until Daddy sold his horses.
He's being very good for Sarah, a companion as well as a tutor, which is more than can be said for the others.
Good.
Anyway, Daniel, I think it's about time you met him.
I pay him, don't I? Why should I meet him?
Because, at the moment, he is the single most important influence in Sarah's life.
You chose him. I trust your judgment.
I'd like your endorsement.
In case he has his eye on the main chance.
I'm trying to look ahead. I wish you would.
Do you think she'll get to Oxford?
I'll be very surprised if she doesn't, unless she has a bad attack of nerves.
Nerves?
Oh, it hits some pupils that way.
But why should it hit Sarah?
Well, I'm not suggesting it will, but...
Well,
Well, she's had a year off her studies since she took her A-levels.
we thought a year's travel would be of more value to her.
She travelled. Ah, I see.
Have you any private means?
No?
And as a schoolmaster, your bankable salary would be what?
About £750 a month.
Not princely.
By no means.
Then why do you continue to teach?
Because I like it, and I'm good at it.
Where are you living?
I rent a small basement flat in St. Margaret's Crescent.
Ah. Comfortable?
It's a bit dark, but it's all right.
Are you staying for dinner?
Thank you. I'm not sure. The matter hasn't been raised.
I'll have a word with Weir about it. I'd like you to be here. What time is it?
It's almost 6.
Help yourself to a drink. I'll have a whiskey soda.
Thank you.
I'm expecting my son Lawrence shortly.
Yes, Sarah was saying.
What else did she say?
I'm sorry?
Did she make any other comment?
Only that they just got back from honeymoon.
Yeah.
Is that enough soda?
Yeah, that's fine. It's a marriage I don't approve of.
I see.
No, that young woman has taken him in.
How old is Lawrence?
He's 28 and he's a fool.
And you believe he shouldn't have married her?
She's 36 and she's a whore.
Why are you telling me this?
Because I would like you here when they both arrive.
Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence, Pen Warden.
I mean, what the hell's going on? Shown in by Weir? How long's this feud supposed to run?
Lawrence, how good to see you. Julie, quite radiant. My dears, come and meet Miss Latimer, who's kindly helping Sarah with her Oxford entrance exam.
How do you do?
Oh, pleased to meet you.
Hello.
Yes. We're back.
And how was the trip?
Super, thank you.
Oh, really lovely. How did the car behave? Lawrence?
What? Oh, the car went very well indeed.
Yes, very well considering. Oh, except for that mess up in your plans.
Oh, God, your plans, yes. Took us 48 hours to get things sorted out.
And the weather was lovely.
Oh, super.
What happened at your blanks, Latimer?
It rained a bit, of course, now and then.
But you had problems at Yablans.
Oh, your plans, yes. Skidded on some tram lines, ended up arse first in a vegetable store.
In a where?
In a vegetable store.
But most of the time it was really, really lovely, wasn't it, darling?
Damn stupid place to back a car.
Terrific! It really was smashing.
Did you have to pay a fine or something like
A
that?
fine and something like that.
Yes, it was really quite awkward because we were running short of cash.
Had to pay the police and the owner of the stall, Polly Quick.
Yes, I suppose the police in their funny foreign sort of way were really quite decent about it, weren't they, darling?
How much did the whole trip cost them, Latimer?
It's really beautiful, the Dalmatian coast and that. Almost preferred it to Greece, didn't we, darling?
I think your father wants to know how much the whole trip cost.
Damned if I can remember. Can you, darling?
Yes, I totted it up somewhere.
And how was Greece?
Yes, did you get to the Acropolis and Delphi?
The Acropolis, nay, Delphi, Oki.
What the devil's he saying?
You managed to pick up a bit of Greek then.
Oh, just enough to get by, you know. Epharisto, Paracalo, Endaxi, that sort of thing.
How much did it cost them, Latimer?
I've no idea, since they haven't.
He's never been known to stint himself.
Well, now you are back. What are your plans?
Finish improving the lodge first, wouldn't you think? Time enough then to think about getting the old shoulder to the wheel.
Has he paid Rossiter? What?
Lawrence, I think you better pay some attention to Daddy.
I'm trying to.
They've spent hundreds on this sorry little escapade in Central Europe without giving a tupty damn about Rossiter or the money he's owed for all the work he's done on the lodge. What kind of irresponsibility is that, I wonder? What?
It was unpleasant, incomprehensible, and excruciatingly embarrassing.
Embarrassing. There was a murder here tonight. You can talk of embarrassment. So, the honeymooners return. How did you interpret the situation?
Well, I only assume, that Sir Daniel didn't approve of the liaison between Lawrence and Julie.
Lawrence, was he happy with the girl?
Well, if he wasn't, he deserves an Oscar for a very convincing performance.
And Julie, what about her?
What about her?
Do you think she engineered this pregnancy?
I don't know.
But you can guess. Was it money and position she was after? Or did she love the man?
I would have thought so. She didn't have to marry him after all. I presume Sir Daniel tried to buy her off and failed.
When did you see Lawrence and Julie next?
About a week later.
By chance?
No, Sarah suggested it during our midweek tutorial. Sarah? Sarah, I'm here.
Is that you calling?
Yes.
Hello? What's the matter?
You look wonderful.
Oh, you think so?
Yes, I do.
Well, thank you. Will you ride out with me afterwards?
Yes, if you'd like me to.
Yes. I thought we'd visit Lawrence and Julie at the lodge. If that's all right.
Has your father spoken to them since the evening they got back?
No. He's being really horrible to Lawrence.
What about your mother?
Oh, she's been over twice, but Daddy doesn't know. You won't tell him, will you?
No.
Latimer, will you spare me a moment?
Yes, of course. Come on in.
Come in. Are you familiar with the east wing of the hall?
I'm sorry?
Have you seen the east wing of the house?
Sarah's shown me around the entire place at one time or another.
And what did you make of the east wing?
It's very impressive.
If it was converted to a self-contained unit, could you live there? Would you be happy there?
But, it's...
I mean, the furniture's adequate, and it's warm.
Oh, it's delightful, yes, but...
99-year lease, and 100 guineas a year.
For the east wing?
Good. Ah, Barbara, why don't you and Mr. Latimer have a drink together? I want to see Weir about something for tomorrow night. Would you do the honors, Latimer?
Yes, of course. Well, Lady Penwarden, what will you have?
Oh, that is very kind of you. Sherry, I think. And you'll have one yourself.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Sir Daniel has just offered me the east wing at a nominal rent.
Oh, he mentioned that, did he?
Yes, just now.
Are you interested?
But why? Why me?
Sit down, please. You're aware, I'm sure, of the coolness that exists between my husband and Lawrence.
It's very noticeable.
He's let us down badly and much too often.
I'm sorry.
As far as Daniel is concerned, this unsuitable marriage of his has been just about the last straw. I had to fight for Julie and Lawrence to be allowed to live in the lodge. That was Daniel's last concession. He hopes, and I think he prays, that Lawrence will find the situation too much to put up with and leave the country.
And if I accept this extraordinary offer of the East Wing, that might hasten Lawrence's departure. I'm to be an active pawn in the game.
You haven't been with us long, Mr. Latimer, but long enough for us all to form an opinion of you. You're respected and trusted and liked. As you know, Daniel and I have to be away from the house quite often, and if you were in the East Wing, we should know that Sarah had a companion who was more suitable and certainly more congenial than we are in the staff.
Did you have this in mind when you first took me on?
Would you be very angry if I chose not to answer that?
I want a word with you, Latimer.
Lawrence, how nice to see you.
Hop it, Sarah.
Why can't I stay?
Go!
What's the problem?
Would you care to tell me exactly what's going on?
About what?
The East Wing.
Who told you?
Sarah.
Did she also tell you that I'd suspended judgment?
She didn't know what the hell you were up to. What are you talking about? Suspended judgment?
That if you hadn't come here, I'd have called on you.
You surely never entertained any serious idea of accepting this ludicrous offer.
Your father was perfectly serious when he made it.
So, I'm dethroned and you're the new crown prince.
If it wasn't for Sarah, I wouldn't set foot in this house again.
If it wasn't for Sarah? She'll frighten you off in the end, like she frightened all the others.
What do you mean?
You'll find out. Good God. Impoverished schoolmasters are 10 a penny.
So are improvident sons.
Let me tell you something, Latimer. If you accept that offer, you'll learn pretty quick how gentlemen deal with counter-jumpers.
I can see exactly why your father detests you.
I went to see Lawrence and Julie this morning.
How are they?
Well, Lawrence looked ever so quiet. And Julie looked a bit down in her mouth.
Sarah, I have a very good reason for asking this. Was my name mentioned at all?
You what?
My name. Was my name mentioned at all?
Lawrence wanted to know when you were coming over to the hall again, and I told him today. Why?
Are your parents in the house?
Yes. And you're to stay to dinner. Black tie.
Yes, I know. Well, before that, I want to work with your parents.
What about?
I'll discuss that with you when I've spoken to them.
I'm sorry, I get this hay fever sometimes. I have to take a tablet.
Hay fever, but you spend half your life in the stables.
Well, no, it's not exactly hay fever. It's some sort of allergy. The doctor said, look, it's all right, really, it's all right.
But you'd never mentioned it before.
I've never needed to before, have I? Look, it's all right, really, it's all right. No!
Sarah!
I'm sorry. When there's a storm, I have to go to bed.
Sarah? Lady Penwarden. I'd like a word with you on Sir Daniel, if I may.
He's in the library with Lawrence.
Is he?
I am sorry. Storms upset me.
Yes, they upset Sarah too. She's gone to her room.
She takes after me in that. What was it you wanted to discuss with Daniel?
Lawrence confronted me yesterday about the offer of the East Wing. He seems rather upset.
So that's why he insisted on seeing Daniel.
You must see what a hopeless position I'm in.
Stop coaching Sarah, are you?
I think we could all do with some coffee, really.
I don't know how much longer we can keep the press at bay, Julie. Don't you think you'd better go back to your parents? At least until the baby's born.
Yes, I suppose that's what I'll have to do. There'll be so much morbid curiosity. Oh, poor Lawrence. I still can't believe what the coroner said.
I'm extremely sorry to disturb your ladyship, but Chief Inspector Dryden is here.
You think it's all over, don't you, Mr. Latimer? But it's not.
It is all over. You heard the coroner's verdict.
So, I'm to close my file. The coroner found these to be the facts. Lawrence and his father had a row here in the library because Lawrence thought he was being squeezed out by you. So, Lawrence blew his top and clouted Sir Daniel with a poker. Then he panicked and left the house. He drove back towards the lodge, skidded, then piled up his car against the parapet of the bridge. He died 2 hours later without having recovered consciousness.
Exactly.
All very tidy, isn't it? Lawrence is dead and he can't talk. The old man is dead, so he can't talk. The daughter's gone off her rocker and won't talk.
Can't talk. She's still in a state of shock.
So you believe what the coroner chooses to believe. The coroner, of course, being an old and dear friend of Lady Penwarden.
Inspector Dryden. Chief Inspector Dryden. You've completed your investigation and given your evidence. We've all given our evidence.
The only evidence on which the coroner's verdict was based has been yours and Lady Penwarden's. Uncorroborated evidence. And you both had considerable financial access to grind.
Now look.
What was it Lawrence said? See, you're the new crown prince. How long before you're king? In your own right.
Miss Aysgarth, could you spare me a moment?
Yes, of course. Come and sit down.
Thank you. Chief Inspector Dryden isn't going to let sleeping dogs lie. And as you've been Sir Daniel's confidential secretary nearly all your working life, I thought it was time you and I started to pool our knowledge.
What is it you wish to know? Sir Daniel's first wife was an actress. A soubrette, I think they used to call it in those days. She died giving birth to Lawrence. Then 4 years later, while he was on a trip to New York, he met the present Lady Penwarden. They were married within 3 months of that meeting.
Lawrence was 4?
That's right.
Was he a happy child?
Lawrence was always a singular boy.
Sarah. It's all over now. All over. We all love you. We want you to come back to us. Sarah. Mr. Latimer is sure that you'll pass your Oxford entrance exam. If you'd only try. Darling. Sarah. Good. You're drawing again. Oh.
I need the address of Sarah's last governess.
Why?
I want to know what reading list she left Sarah before she left, especially Latin. I need to talk to her.
But surely Lady Penwarden.
I am sure Lady Penwarden will understand. I am Sarah's tutor. Please. Hammond. Thank you, Miss Aysgarth. You've been most helpful.
That's only a forwarding address, you know. I believe Miss Hammond is working abroad now.
Well, I'm sure her educational agency will know where to find her.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Weir. Thank you.
Her ladyship is expecting you, sir.
Good.
Mr. Latimer, your ladyship.
Mr. Latimer, I'm so glad you're here.
I'm afraid this isn't a social visit, Lady Penwarden. You threw us together a great deal, Sarah and me. You saw a growing attachment between us. I know that I was, and am, very fond of her, but no more than that.
James,
To promote the relationship further, you and Sir Daniel conceived this offer of the East Wing. Not so much to squeeze Lawrence out as to squeeze me in.
I don't begin to follow you.
Living in style in the East Wing, for next to nothing. Constantly seeing Sarah. Getting used to a kind of life I could never in the normal course of events afford. I'd become totally involved with you all, to an extent that partly from gratitude, partly from natural affection, and in expectation of further favors, I'd offer to marry Sarah.
This is ridiculous.
No, it's heartbreaking. I have every sympathy for you. That's why I'm here.
Forgive me.
Roland Jameson painted it 20 years ago. What's he up to now?
He's dead.
No, he's alive, isn't he? And in a mental hospital.
What's all that got to do with anything here?
Sarah's remarkable talent for art. A talent you've tried to suppress. Why?
Because I thought it would lead her into a blind alley.
No. Because your husband would have realized the truth.
Daniel had been behaving very badly. He was making me very unhappy. Roland and I...
And when the portrait was completed, you came back here to Sir Daniel, so that when Sarah was born, he assumed he was her father.
What else could I do?
What about Lawrence? Is he the black sheep of the family he's been made out to be?
One night, a night like this, there was a storm, quite late. Sarah had already gone to bed. Daniel was worried about her. He knew she was afraid of storms. He went up to her room to find her. She wasn't there. He searched and finally went to Lawrence's bedroom and found her in Lawrence's bed. She'd gone to him for comfort, but Daniel thought he was making love to her.
But Lawrence was no blood relation of Sarah's.
I couldn't tell him that. I didn't have the courage.
So instead, you let him believe that Lawrence was guilty of incest? I've spoken to Miss Hammond.
Why? Why Miss Hammond?
Well, I was puzzled by Sarah's hay fever. The tablets she takes, they're not antihistamine, they're sedatives. Miss Hammond and the previous governess were subjected to sudden acts of violence which Sarah had no recollection of afterwards. So they left, well compensated for their silence. Sarah's inherited her father's criminal violence, hasn't she, as well as his artistic gifts. You and Sir Daniel were well aware of her schizophrenia, but you were too proud to acknowledge it. So you searched for someone to share your guilt. And you found him, didn't you? And a man can't be asked to give evidence against his wife. I think you ought to tell me what happened that evening.
Sarah adored Lawrence. She was desperate about the rift between him and Daniel. That evening, she heard them arguing, and when Lawrence left the library, she went in to try to put his case to Daniel. There was a terrible row. She had one of her fits. She struck him. She remembers nothing of it. Let her remember nothing of it.
You're forgetting Julie and the child she'll be having soon. They have to go through life thinking Lawrence murdered his father.
Can't worry about it. I have to protect Sarah.
Look, Inspector Dryden is not satisfied. Sooner or later, he'll find out the truth just as I have.
I can't take
You
any more.
have to. We both have to. We have to make Sarah understand everything that's happened before the police come knocking on her door.
I heard everything. I heard everything. I thought James loved me.
Sarah, put that down.
You've betrayed me. All my life. You've lied to me about everything all my life. You knew I loved Lawrence. That I could have loved Lawrence, it wasn't wrong. All my life you've lied to me. I knew he was my father.
It was no dream. I lay broad waking. But all is changed. Thorough my gentleness into a strange fashion of forsaking. And I have leave to go of her goodness, and she of me, to use newfangleness. But since that I so kindly am served, I would fain know what she hath deserved.